If you'd like to, please subscribe. It helps me out a lot. I post every Wednesday. Hey everyone, my name is Catherine and welcome to my channel. This is part 2 to my Colombia series where I show you all what I get up to on my Colombia trip with EF Ultimate Break. I am now in the hotel in Medellin, the next city. So we flew here this morning and then we just traveled around the city and only got here just now, and it's a little after 6 p.m. and we're meeting at 7 for dinner, but I will show you a room tour in a second. I do have a roommate this time, so I'm gonna try to do filming when she's not in the room to like not intrude. As for the room tour, so this is the front doorway and then that is the bathroom. I think this is just a closet. Let's see. Why is this? Oh yeah. Just a closet, and then we have a very long desk and a lot of mirror. This is a very nice like modern hotel. That is my stuff. I like to prop my suitcase up on like a bench area. It's much nicer to like if you're not fully unpacking, which usually on EF trips you're in a hotel between 1 to like 3 nights, so I never fully unpack. It's really nice to kind of have access on something that's a bit more elevated. And then my backpack, and we have a pretty big window with some shading as well. This is my bed, roommate's bed. This is overall the space. Oh, there's like something written up there as well. And then it's currently getting dark, but this is our view. So that is our room tour, and this, by the way, just a reminder, is a Ultimate Plus trip, which means that you will be getting nicer accommodations. With EF, you're never gonna get a hostel. You're gonna have 2 travelers per room unless you upgrade to a single, which I have not done for this particular tour. I just kind of got lucky and happened to get a single, which sometimes rarely happens in the previous accommodation. But now I am just in a traditional 2-person room, and of course if you come with a friend or partner or whatever, you can request, but I got a random roommate. And yeah, I definitely recommend Ultimate Plus. They're pretty nice. So going back for what we did during this stay, we started out by going to this square that had really cool statues that this artist did that specifically were unproportional, and he was really playing around with different shapes and sizes and making different animals and people just normal sizes, and it was a lot of fun to see this type of art. And afterwards we got to go to the metro. This is the metro in Medellin because it is such a hilly area. It really is the best way for locals to get around. It is the normal price for you to just take a metro ride. This is part of it. It isn't the entire metro, but it is part of it. And my tour guide who lives in Medellin was telling us about how the metro that was built here in the early 2000s really revitalized Medellin, because this town was known to be one that's filled with drug lords and crime and just generally a dangerous area. And the metro really helped make this a completely new city, and people even have a saying that's something along the lines of treat things with care and kindness the way we do our metro. The metro is very clean and very safe, and the locals really treat it well, and it really just helped elevate the city and make it modern and changed it to be safer. One example, this is a popular tourist attraction. This neighborhood used to be the most dangerous neighborhood in the 80s in the world, and now it is completely different. It's so vibrant, filled with culture, with color. We got to see this dance show, and that is someone on my tour group. She turned 30 and she got a surprise dance by this dance group. It was a lot of fun. They roped some of us, including me, onto the dance floor, and I just looked like a giant compared to this man, but it was a lot of fun. I'm definitely an introvert, so I had to be out of my bubble a little bit because there's an audience and everything, but it was so much fun to be able to see these dancers and just see how this city and this area just completely has become transformed since the 80s. It's just hard to believe that it was so dangerous just a few decades ago. And then it started to rain quite a bit on us, but it's all part of the adventure. I love these stairs. This is what everyone thought of when they thought of Colombia, just the color, the culture, and these escalators here. Again, it changed Medellin to be a safer, more modern place. It's crazy to think of escalators to be having such an impact. And at the end, we ended up doing a graffiti lesson, so I got to write my name on a wall legally, and then we had our dinner. So the following day, we ended up hiking this rock formation, which is known to be called the Pinon de Guatape, and it is a hike that spans a bit over 700 steps up, and you can see these stairs that go up a zigzaggy formation. This was what we were doing today. At the beginning of the day, we got in line and got our tickets because you can't reserve them ahead of time. This was a pretty cool and unique thing to do. I've never done a hike like this at all, and the views were incredible with the waters and the hill and the trees and everything. It was just really beautiful to take in this beautiful scenery here in Guatape. I also went to a gift shop and added a little keychain to my EF bag. So this bag I love to take with me everywhere. It's the perfect travel day bag, and I loved this little hat keychain. I thought it was really cute and fun and a great addition to my bag. I started to climb up the steps and I was able to kind of film it along the way, although it was very tiresome, but there's markings for the steps, which is nice. This is my adventure climbing up just over 700 stairs. Climbing up the stairs, almost at 200. 200 steps out of 700.
That's where we are now.
I'm about halfway there. It's pretty hot, but pretty high up already, and it's going well. Just a little overheated. I made it. I made it to the top. 700-ish steps. All right, so heading back down was also quite the adventure. We were supposed to meet everyone down at a certain point, and it took us a lot longer to get down than we were told and realized, so we were actually a bit late to the bus, which my tour guide was not very happy about. The steps you can see here look very slick and slippery, and there was traffic, and we didn't want to slip, but we made it down, we made it to the bus, and all was well. That was pretty hard, but I'm glad I did it, and now we are going back to the bus, but it's a bit chaotic. Definitely sweaty, and I think we're gonna get lunch next. So afterwards, we actually ended up going straight to this boat dock where we could take a boat ride, and while waiting, we got to see some furry friends who were saying hi to us. Getting an action shot of this dog.
So much cheaper and shocking.
Once we got on the boat, we were separated into two different boats since it was a larger group, and it was so much fun. I really liked this boat setup. Everyone had essentially like a window view, and it felt more personal, and I just got a bit of a time lapse of us going, and it was a lot of fun. So this is actually one of Pablo Escobar's houses that he had back in the day, and it ended up in an explosion, and the story is a bit wild. We got to see that, which was pretty cool. And next, which is right around the corner, is this famous soccer player's mansion. He's from Colombia. And then you can see the rock we hiked just earlier that day. We also saw this Disney, or in quotes, Disney boat, which was quite funny, and really had a lovely time seeing lots of interesting things on this boat ride and beautiful nature. Afterwards, we got to Guatape by this boat ride and were able to do a beautiful walk around this town. It's hard to believe we did all this in one day looking back. There was these beautiful tuk-tuks as well that you could take, and my favorite part was just all of the colors of this town. It is absolutely gorgeous. This is what we all were thinking of when we thought of Colombia, about South America. It's just all the culture, all the colors. It was just absolutely beautiful to walk around, and was probably one of my favorite parts of my whole trip here in Colombia. And I was able to also get some beautiful shots of these dogs against the colorful walls and murals of this space, and a lot of them were nature focused, and I absolutely just loved everything. We ended up going to this famous alleyway or street that had these colorful umbrellas hanging from up above. This was definitely an Instagram versus reality moment because it was so packed with so many people, but I still loved it. It was incredible. We took so many photos and videos, and there was also a lot of cute little souvenir shops along the way, and I really did enjoy my time here. We only got like 15 minutes, which I wish we had more, but again, we did so much on this day, so EF is trying their best, and I loved the reflection of the umbrellas here. I thought it was an artsy shot. This was an absolutely incredible day. Hey everyone, I'm back in my hotel room. It is about 10:15 or almost 10:15. Today is the second full day out of 3 days that we're here, and we started out, we knew that we're going to be climbing 700-ish steps today along this rock formation, which you've probably already seen at this point. And we climbed for, the average is about 20 minutes, but my guide was saying that the record timing is 3 minutes and 25 seconds, which is wild. We all did it and got to the top, and it was beautiful. I would just have to say that we did not have enough time at the top. It felt rushed. By the time you get up, you want to like cool down and, I don't know, have your breath just be at more of a normal level. And I got like this really nice passion fruit with club soda kind of a drink, and we got to take a bunch of pictures. But I feel like in order to have gone down and be on time, we would have had like a max of 10 minutes. And when you do all this effort and this work to get a nice view, you want to enjoy it. And it was also quite crowded. There's like traffic going up. So I think you can always do reviews at the end for EF, and I would say to give us more time, because we did end up going down at around like 12:08, and we were supposed to meet up at 12:15. And apparently my EF guide was not happy with us. I was in a group of like 5 or so other girls that we were like 15 minutes late, which like, yes, is partially our fault, but at the same time, there was traffic going down, and we were told it would take 15 minutes to walk down the stairs, whereas it took us 30, and it wasn't because we were stopping along the way, but because there was so much traffic with people, and the steps were quite steep and wet, and you have to just be really careful going down, and we were prioritizing not tripping and falling, but taking our time and making sure we were getting down safely. But overall, it was a good experience, and I got some good photos as you saw. And then we ended up taking a boat ride. There were like 2 different speedboats, which was a lot of fun, and it was very nice and refreshing after the workout, and I think that put everyone in a better mood as well. And we got to see like some stuff about Pablo Escobar and houses that he had that ended up exploding, so that was pretty cool. And then we just went around the corner while still in the speedboats, and we got to see some soccer players. I forgot their names, but their houses, they're famous Colombian soccer players, and as you know, soccer is huge in South America. And then we ended up getting off in this like little village area. I'll probably put up on the screen the name of it, because I'm sorry, I have a really hard time remembering the names of things, whether it's people or of like places, because honestly, I booked this trip kind of blind and did not know too much about Colombia. It was this beautiful, colorful village that had these buildings with so many colors and these like murals and paintings and this like aisle of like umbrellas above and these souvenir shops, which was beautiful. And we ended up getting lunch, which I've noticed also we'll have like an hour for lunch and we'll sit down somewhere, and then it'll take like 40 minutes plus for us to get our food, and we have to then also walk back. So today was good, but it felt a little bit rushed at certain times. But we ended up eating, and we had Indian food, which normally I like to eat the local cuisine, but we'd been eating like the typical like soups and beans and rice and beef and chicken for days straight, and it was just kind of a good option, especially because there was someone in our group that's vegetarian and Indian, so we thought it'd be fun to try it out. And then afterwards we met up with the group, we did a walking tour, we got to get lots of photos, do a little bit of souvenir shopping. The place of all the umbrellas, we only had like 15 minutes, which I would have liked more time, but at the same time I understand that we did so much today, and it's 2 hours to go to this city and then go back, so that's 4 hours total. We've done this so much in the last 3-4 days, and I'm pretty tired, but that is what we ended up doing. And I would say I felt very accomplished with the 700 steps, and I loved the views, but my favorite part was probably walking along the colorful streets and taking photos, although I also loved the speedboats. Now I'm just mentioning everything. But we ended up getting back to the hotel at around 6, I want to say, and I was like so tired. I was like, I don't know if I can get myself to do dinner, but I did end up losing my AirPod in like the middle between the like seat and the wall, so that was a bit stressful. I had to get another girl in the tour group and my guide, my EF guide, and the bus driver involved in helping me get it, so I did really appreciate that. And then I ended up going to the mall around here, did a little bit of shopping, which was cool. I mostly looked, but I did buy one single shirt. And then we got some food at like the food court, but it was like this chicken place that's local that was recommended by my guide. So now I'm back and I'm going to get ready for bed, and tomorrow I'm leaving at 7:30 to go to a coffee plantation where I want to get, I'm not a big coffee drinker, but I want to get ground beans for my parents and also do whitewater rafting, which I'm excited for. I did it in Costa Rica. I was pretty nervous, but I ended up loving it. It was like my favorite thing I did in Costa Rica, and so I'm pretty excited. I'm not too nervous.
Forms in your cup, so some people don't really like that graininess in their coffee, and I understand because I don't like it either. So it's very convenient. You can make them
flavor. I'm assuming that's going to impact the quality of the coffee if the soil is not.
Yeah, exactly. That's nice crops, and also you have to keep like doing like soil tests in order to see what the honey process that is just taking away the pulp, right? Take away the pulp, and you're left with the 2 seeds. But these seeds just...
So at this coffee plantation, I tried this fruit called the grandila, which I had no idea existed, and I love passion fruit anything, so I was really excited to try this. I generally really liked it. It wasn't as sour as the passion fruit, it still was, but I kind of liked it more when eating it like itself and not being flavored in things. I'm also not a big coffee drinker, but I tried. I'm at a coffee plantation. It's Colombia. I had to try. Some of the coffees I was able to drink more than typical coffees, and this is how coffee actually looks like. They grow a lot of coffee on site, and we got to see kind of the full life forms from start to finish with how they grow the coffee and how they make the coffee. So that was really cool. And this is on top of a mountain. It was absolutely beautiful. I got some coffee for family, and although I somewhat liked the coffee, I'm still not a big coffee drinker. And next we went whitewater rafting. This was the most intense like category 4 like rapids that we had, and this was my group coming up. Someone was kind enough to film for us. A girl, Ashley, she not on this specific area but somewhere else fell out of the raft, but other than that we were fine, and she was the most experienced out of all of us, so it was more just like, oh no, but she's fine, now it's funny kind of situation. And I was able to do it, and it was a lot of fun. Hey everyone, I'm back in my hotel room. It is about 6:37ish. Today we had a free day here in Medellin, and today's the last day here in Medellin as well. I ended up opting for the excursion. Usually there's almost always some kind of option for something to do pretty much the entire day, if not most of the day, on a free day, and I typically like to do the excursions because I usually like the options that EF gives. And today's excursion was 2-in-1. It was going to a local coffee plantation and doing like a coffee tour, along with then doing whitewater rafting, and both were really fun. When I saw that option, I definitely wanted to do it. And with the coffee one, I ended up buying a bag of coffee. I'm not the biggest coffee drinker, and by not the biggest, I mean I don't drink coffee, but I think this would be a good gift. So I ended up getting this coffee for my family. The packaging is very pretty. So that is what I ended up getting at the coffee place. This coffee place was near the city. Usually they're not that close to the city. It was about a 30-minute drive, and it was on top of a mountain, so you could see the views of Medellin, which was very beautiful. And we got to try several different types of coffee. And this one was interesting because the person that was giving the tour to us told us that the coffee almost tastes like tea, and that a lot of non-coffee drinkers liked this coffee, which I would mostly agree with when I tried it because I love tea. I could see what they meant by that. It felt very smooth, very light, more watery, but not in a bad way. But I still wouldn't opt to drink it over tea. And then we ended up having some fruits, and I love passion fruits, like my favorite. And they ended up having a, let me read it here, a granadilla. And I really liked that fruit. That was like my favorite thing, and now I want to just see if I can find it, maybe seasonally or in certain stores or something like that. Back home, you basically take the fruit, you just puncture it with your fingers, open it up, and you just snack on the seeds. And a lot of people were like not sure about the texture or about chewing the seeds, and it felt weird to them because to them, they guess they are used to like spitting out seeds. But for me, with passion fruit, I love passion fruit, and I have the seeds in like boba or whatever all the time, so I loved the texture and the like crunchiness of it. And that was probably my favorite thing. And we continued on to have a tour, and then we bought the coffee at the end as well. And then we took a 2-hour bus ride to the whitewater rafting. And this is why I love EF, because I feel like if you're doing your own thing, it'd be a bit difficult, or you'd have to book like a day, I guess, tour or excursion. But it was just all, I don't know, super simple and easy. And I ended up going, yeah, 2 hours away, which is a bit far, but it makes sense. It's like further away from the city to do whitewater rafting with, I would say, like half the group, maybe a little bit less, like a third or so. And it was a good amount of us, and I really did enjoy it. We started out by having lunch. Well, first off, I guess, before I get ahead of myself, we ended up like going over some of the rules, and then we had to like walk a bit to get to like, I guess, the bank of the water. And there we had lunch, which was in this like bamboo leaf kind of folded in, and there was some kind of meat, whether it was like chicken or pork. I think it tasted more like pork. Some veggies, which was nice because you don't have as many veggies, I feel like, when you travel, and rice and some plantain, like almost like mashed potato, but mashed plantains, and white rice. And it was pretty good and filling, so that we would have energy for whitewater rafting. And then we ended up going whitewater rafting, and we went also, part of it we walked, but part of it we took like a jeep down, which was cool. And I was in a boat with 3 other girls, and I was like on the front right side. So one of the other girls, the one on the left right next to me, she had gone twice already, and then the 2 behind me hadn't. And then obviously we had our instructor, and we were in the water for like an hour and a half to 2 hours. And they said that we would go up to class 4 waves, or rapids, class 4 rapids. We ended up doing it, and it was great. The girl next to me did fall off because we were on one of the, they weren't telling us every time which class rapid it was, but it was one of the like harder ones, I guess. And we like hit a rock, or the boat did, and she just like on my side, the boat hit a rock, I didn't, and then the girl just went like into the water, but she was the one that was the most calm, the most excited about it. So I don't want to say it's the best that she fell in, because it's not like necessarily fun for anyone, but I think she handled it best out of all 4 of us. But it was a lot of fun, and I definitely would have been down to keep going and not end when we did. Like, well, we're like, we want to keep going. So it ended up being a lot of fun. I ended up doing a bit of swimming as well in the end, and yeah, so that has been my day. And because whitewater rafting took 2 hours to get there and 2 hours back, and all that took up a lot of our day. So yeah, but it is already, what is it now, a little past 6:30, and I'm just going to wait and see about like what dinner plans are. I think I'm gonna end off my Medellin video here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video of mine, such as in Cartagena, when I will be doing part 3 of this series. Okay, bye.